There is a piece of rubber sitting inside your toilet tank right now. It costs 50 cents at any hardware store. It takes 4 minutes to replace with your bare hands. No tools, no training, no license required. And when it wears out, which it does silently, invisibly, and constantly, it drains between 200 and 6,000 gallons of clean water every single day directly down your drain. Not through a visible leak, not through a dripping faucet, silently, while you sleep, while you work, while you pay your water bill every single month and wonder why the number keeps climbing. The plumbing industry in the United States generates over $130 billion in revenue every year. A 50-cent rubber disc that any 10-year-old can replace in 4 minutes threatens a portion of that revenue so directly that the industry built an entire service model around making sure you never learn its name. They did not make the repair complicated. They made you believe it was complicated. That is a very different thing. And today, that difference ends. This is the story of the toilet flapper, the single most replaced household plumbing component in America, and the $130 billion industry that charges you $300 to touch it. Welcome to Lost Skills. This is where the knowledge they buried comes back. If these vaults matter to you, subscribe now and hit the bell. We open a new one every week. First, you need to perform one test. This test takes 30 seconds and costs you nothing. It will tell you whether your toilet is silently draining your money right now, today, while you read this. Open the lid of your toilet tank. The tank is the rectangular box mounted on the back of your toilet bowl. Drop 5 to 10 drops of food coloring into the tank water. Any color. Red, blue, green. It does not matter. Do not flush. Walk away and wait 15 minutes. Come back and look down into the toilet bowl. Not the tank, the bowl. If you see color in the bowl water, your toilet has a silent leak. The flapper is failing. Water is moving from your tank into your bowl continuously without a single flush. And you are paying for every drop of it. According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, a single leaking toilet wastes an average of 200 gallons of water per day. The worst cases, when the flapper seal has fully deteriorated, reach 6,000 gallons per day. In California, where water costs between 0.07 and 0.015 per gallon depending on your district, a silent toilet leak can add $40 to $90 to your monthly water bill. In Nevada, in Texas, in Arizona, the numbers are almost identical. Across the entire country, the EPA estimates that household toilet leaks waste 1 trillion gallons of clean water every single year. 1 trillion. And the fix is a 50-cent piece of rubber that your grandfather would have replaced himself on a Sunday afternoon without calling anyone. Let me tell you exactly what that rubber piece is and why it fails. Inside every toilet tank in America sits a component called the flapper. It is a hinged rubber seal, usually red or black, attached to the bottom of the tank. When you flush, it lifts, water rushes into the bowl, and then it drops back down to create a watertight seal so the tank can refill. That rubber seal is doing its job thousands of times per year, every year, submerged in chlorinated municipal water that slowly breaks down its molecular structure. Most flappers begin to degrade between 3 and 5 years after installation. The rubber loses its elasticity. It warps slightly. The seal becomes imperfect, and water begins moving past it continuously, silently, invisibly, from your tank into your bowl and straight down the drain. You do not hear it, you do not see it, but your water meter records every drop. The plumbing supply industry has known about flapper degradation rates since the widespread adoption of the modern toilet tank in the 1950s. Flapper replacement is the single most common toilet repair call logged by American plumbing companies, and the average service call charge for that visit according to HomeAdvisor and Angie pricing data compiled across the United States, is between $150 and $375 for a part that costs 50 cents. For a repair that requires no tools, no training, no experience, and 4 minutes of your time. That gap between 50 cents and $300 is not a gap in skill. It is a gap in knowledge that the industry spent decades building and maintaining. Stay with me now because the history behind this repair goes deeper than you might expect. And because what comes next in this video is the part that the plumbing industry genuinely does not want in front of your eyes. But before we go further, everything you have seen so far is just the surface of what has been buried from you. I have spent years collecting the practical knowledge that skilled tradespeople and industry insiders kept inside their own families and off public instruction. All of it is organized inside the complete Lost Skills Vault. Plumbing repairs that eliminate 90% of standard service calls at zero cost. Electrical fixes that licensed contractors bill by the hour for components that cost under $3. HVAC maintenance techniques that extend system life by a decade and eliminate the most common service calls entirely. Structural home repairs using materials that cost nothing and methods that have survived for centuries. Over 10 complete practical guides in one place. No filler, no padding, straight to the repair. The link is in the description below. But stay here. This vault is just opening. Now, the plumbing industry did not arrive and decide to charge you $300 to replace a 50-cent rubber disc because they are cruel. They arrived and charged you $300 because you did not know the disc existed. There is a precise difference between those two things. Licensing requirements for plumbing work in the United States vary by state, but in most states, any repair involving the interior of a toilet tank is classified as maintenance, not plumbing work, and requires no license whatsoever. You do not need a permit. You do not need a certified technician. You do not need to call anyone. The toilet flapper is a consumer replaceable part, classified as such by every major toilet manufacturer, including American Standard, Kohler, and Toto. Every one of those companies sells replacement flappers directly to consumers. The instructions are printed on the packaging. A child can follow them. The plumbing service industry built its residential toilet repair revenue on one assumption alone, that you would never learn this. The moment you learn it, that revenue disappears, permanently. That is not a service call lost. That is a customer who never calls again for that specific repair. Multiply that across 142 million housing units in the United States, each containing an average of 2.5 toilets, and you begin to understand the scale of what has been quietly maintained through consumer ignorance. Here is where the numbers become infuriating. The average American household pays between $70 and $120 per month on water and sewer services combined. According to the American Water Works Association, toilet flushing and toilet leaks account for approximately 30% of all indoor water consumption in a typical American household. A home with one silent leaking toilet adds between $15 and $90 to that monthly bill, depending on local water rates and leak severity. Over 12 months, that is between $180 and $1,080 in wasted water from a single failing flapper. Over 5 years, the cost of not replacing a 50-cent rubber disc reaches between $900 and $5,400 in excess water billing alone before the first plumber is ever called. When the leak becomes severe enough that the homeowner finally calls a service company, the average visit generates $225 in labor and service fees, plus the cost of the flapper itself, typically marked up from 50 cents retail to $12 to $25 on the service invoice. The industry collects revenue at every stage of a problem it never told you how to prevent. First through your water bill as the leak grows. then through the service call when the leak becomes undeniable, then through the parts markup when the technician replaces what you could have replaced yourself before the water bill ever climbed. If you have made it this far, you already understand more about household water waste than most homeowners in America. Subscribe and share this with someone paying a water bill that keeps climbing without explanation. The fix is in their tank right now. They just do not know what to look for yet. Everything the plumbing industry prefers you never learn is inside the vault. Link is in the description. Stay with me. The next part is the one they want buried most. Here is exactly what you do, starting today, starting right now. Step 1. Perform the food coloring test described at the beginning of this video. Open the tank lid. Add 10 drops of any food coloring. Wait 15 minutes without flushing. Check the bowl. If color appears in the bowl, your flapper is failing and you are paying for it every single day. Step 2. Go to any hardware store. Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, True Value. Walk to the plumbing aisle. Find the toilet repair section. You are looking for a universal toilet flapper. Corky brand model 2001 BP is compatible with approximately 85% of toilets in American homes. Fluid Master brand 502 is another reliable universal option. Both cost between $4 and $8. If you want a premium flapper with a 10-year rated lifespan, spend $12 on the Corky 100 BP. Still less than 1/20th of the average plumber's service call fee. Step 3. Turn off the water supply to your toilet. The shutoff valve is located on the wall behind and below your toilet, connected to the bottom of the tank by a braided metal or plastic line. Turn it clockwise until it stops. Flush the toilet once. The tank will drain and will not refill. You are now working with an empty, dry tank. Step 4. Look at the bottom of the empty tank. You will see the old flapper attached to 2 pegs on either side of the flush valve, which is the plastic tower in the center of the tank. Unhook the flapper from both pegs, then disconnect the chain from the flush handle arm. The old flapper lifts out in one motion. That is the entire removal process. Step 5. Attach the new flapper to the same 2 pegs. Press each side until it snaps into place. Connect the new chain to the flush handle arm. Leave approximately ½ an inch of slack in the chain. Not too tight, not too loose. ½ an inch. Step 6. Turn the water supply valve back on counterclockwise. Let the tank refill completely. This takes 60 to 90 seconds. Perform the food coloring test again. Wait 15 minutes. No color in the bowl means the repair is complete and the leak is sealed. Total time, 4 minutes. Total cost, $4 to $12. Total skill required, none. A homeowner in Phoenix, Arizona, documented her water bills before and after replacing a flapper she had not known was failing for 14 months. Her bill dropped by $67 in the first month after the repair. She calculated that the silent leak had cost her over $800 in excess water charges before she found it with the food coloring test. The plumber she had almost called before discovering this repair would have charged her $240 for the service visit. Her total repair cost, $6.30. I need to be honest about one thing. Not every toilet problem is a flapper. If the flapper replacement does not stop the color from appearing in the bowl, the issue may be a worn flush valve seat, which requires a slightly more involved repair, but is still a consumer-level task under $20. If the toilet runs continuously and never fully stops, regardless of the flapper condition, the fill valve may need replacement, also a consumer part, also under $12. Also fully documented in every toilet manufacturer's service manual available for free online. The flapper covers the majority of silent leak cases. If it does not resolve yours, the next step is still not a $300 service call. It is a $10 fill valve and another 10 minutes. Your grandfather repaired his own toilet. His grandfather repaired his. The knowledge passed between men sitting on the floor of a bathroom with a wrench in one hand and a 5-cent part in the other, explaining to their sons exactly what each piece did and exactly why it failed. That knowledge did not disappear because the repair became too complicated. It disappeared because the industry that grew around that repair decided it was more profitable if it stayed complicated in your mind. The flapper is still in the tank. The fix is still the same fix it has always been. The only thing that changed is whether you knew what to look for. Now you do. Run the food coloring test tonight. Your water bill will tell you everything. If color moves into that bowl, you are not looking at a plumbing problem. You are looking at a lost skill that just paid for itself. If this vault opened something for you, subscribe and share it. Every person who finds this video is one fewer service call for an industry that built its revenue on your not knowing. The next vault opens soon. What is inside costs the industry even more.